The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivey. I think I've pronounced that correctly. So again, this has been another book that's been on my TBR pile for quite a while, but I only actually bought it quite recently. I think this was a 19th birthday present, so literally the birthday that's just gone. So even though I wanted to read it for quite a few years, I only just bought it as... I just explained all that. Anyway, so finding around to reading it, I thought this would be a good time. Kind of, not because of the things, because I had more time to just sit and deal with reading more books kind of thing. Obviously I have more time off now, but I was really disappointed. I don't really know how else to put it really. I was really disappointed with this book. I think because it was far too descriptive for me. It gave some really beautiful descriptions of just Alaska and the winter, the snow, the changing of seasons. It was really beautiful. But I feel like a picture or a painting would have done just as good a job. I don't feel like anything was added to getting this experience by reading it. If anything, I feel like it was actually detracted from. And because of all this description, the plot basically had no pace. There was no real movement to it. It was very sort of, I would say kind of naturalistic, but there's a lot of jumps in it, random time jumps that I personally don't think were necessary or were logical. The book is split into 3 parts, so I suppose time jumps would make sense if they did it in from part to part, but just randomly in between. I think it interrupted the flow of the book personally. I also found, because of the amount of description there was, the characters didn't feel real to me at all. I was very aware the whole way through that I was somebody who was reading a piece of fiction. I didn't get immersed at all. Obviously, like with other books, you do understand that it's fiction still, but you kind of, I have to put it, you become immersed in the world being presented and the characters feel really real and tangible to you. And in this, they did not leap off at me from the page. So I had no emotional connection to anybody within the book. Nor did I really care about anything that happened. It was nice when good things happened to them and not so nice when bad things happened to them, but it just kind of felt like when you hear something generically nice happen, maybe even less than that, I wasn't bothered. I didn't really care. Towards the end, it actually became more of a chore to read than an enjoyment, and I actually found myself really happy when it was finished. I didn't want to give up on it because I did find the description was quite beautiful. And therefore, that was the only kind of thing that made me persevere on with it. But it wasn't enough for me to actually enjoy this book. I just think it was genuinely quite a bad book. And it could have been expressed much nicer, possibly a shorter way or in another sort of art form. I just did not enjoy it. So I think if you can't get emotionally connected to a book, at least for me, it will not be an enjoyable read. No matter how beautifully the style of no matter how beautifully it is written, I will not enjoy it if there is no emotional connection or bond, and there just wasn't. I just didn't care. To give a quick plot synopsis, though I will struggle because I don't really feel like anything actually happened. Predominantly, it's set in the 1920s, which again, I did not really feel there was any actual evidence that it was in the 1920s. I'm not expecting everyone to sort of turn around and start doing, I don't even know what 1920s things are, so maybe I missed them, but I didn't feel like I was reading a book set in the 1920s. I didn't feel like there was much relevance to anything else going on at the time, any hints. I personally didn't... It could have been set any time, basically. But on the back, it says Alaska, the 1920s. So I know that's when it was meant to be set. However, it's an old couple that have moved out to Alaska to start farming. They just had I don't say miscarriage, they had a stillborn. They had a stillborn, so they're getting over the grief of that. And she's from quite a well-to-do, educated family. He is more common, so more farmery type background. They moved to Alaska to start on the farm, but obviously the winters are really harsh and they're struggling a bit, and she's really missing the child, and their relationship is kind of fractured because of the grief that they're dealing with. It turns out that one night they decide to build a snowman and then turn it into a snow girl. Next thing you know, there's a little girl running around in their farm, and then they sort of kind of take her on as a kind of child emotionally, but she only stays throughout winter. And it's just then the passing of years between them and the other people they meet, their neighbours and things. But it's quite a dull book. As I said, nothing happens predominantly, and you do feel bad obviously for the grief they're having to go through, but it just, I don't know. I think I wanted something quite fairy tale-esque with this book. I wanted it to feel slightly magical and a bit like a miracle. I think that's what I was hoping for, especially as it's kind of based on a fairy tale. Fairy tale is mentioned continually through it. Sorry, I'm just reading the back. Shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I think I was expecting more of a magical element to it, which it was just missing. It just was quite bland and it felt quite flat. Personally, how I perceived it. I would only give this book a 3 out of 10. I still managed to persevere with it, so obviously it wasn't completely awful, but I don't think it deserves anything more than a 3 out of 10, and I'm only really giving it 3 out of 10 for artistic premise. I just don't agree with anything it says on the back. Maybe I'm just not the right target audience, it's not my type of genre, but like, it's really well acclaimed, and obviously it was the finalist for different prizes. It's had some fantastic reviews. I don't get it at all. I'm sorry. Like, there's some really, really good reviews. Like, one person's put, as unique and as precious as a snowflake in its own right. Or a grown-up fairy tale so beautifully painted that upon finishing the soul aches. There's a story created at once fantastical and ethereal, a timeless novel, brooding, emotional and arresting. There isn't a wasted word. It's the harsh beauty of the landscape that gives the stunning first novel its unique shape and atmosphere. Exceptional, deserves to melt millions of hearts. Magical, heartbreaking, gorgeous. A story about finding love in unexpected places full of fire and ice. I did not feel any of this. All these reviews, in my opinion, have lied. I might be wrong. Maybe this is a fantastic book and it has completely gone over my head. Obviously, there must be something about it because they all can't be wrong. They've all obviously really enjoyed it. I just did not enjoy it at all. I was thoroughly disappointed. And I wouldn't recommend it, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. If you have read the book and disagree with me, please write in the comments and tell me what you thought. I would love to hear from anyone that has read it and has a differing opinion, or the same opinion. It'd be nice if there's somebody else out there that did not enjoy this book. Who knows? But yeah, I will see you again soon. Bye.